Hello guys, this is Gautam and in this video we're gonna discuss how to configure a new custom MDF portlet. And before going to configuration of custom MDF portlet, I want to tell you what is MDF objects. For MDF objects we can also call as metadata framework objects or generic objects. So generally you can define what do you mean by what are the objects present in MDF. So the predefined MDF objects are legal entity, business unit, division, department, cost center, job function, job classification, pay group, pay calendar and country. These are the predefined MDF objects, which is also called as generic objects. So in order to, if you want to configure a new custom MDF object, you can do through configure object definition command. So in order to maintain any data for the MDF object, you can maintain data through manage data command. So I am repeating it again. If you want to configure a new MDF object, custom MDF object, then you can configure the object through configure object definition command in SuccessFactors Employee Central. If you want to create data for MDF, then there is a transition called manage data in Employee Central SuccessFactors. So let me tell you how to configure a new custom MDF object. So think that there was a scenario where I need to create a custom MDF portlet on family details. So I want 4 to 5 fields, that is father name, mother name, sibling one name and sibling two name. These are the 4 fields which I want in a portlet. Generally, let me tell you what is portlet. So I'll be going to any particular employee. So this is her employee profile, and you can see this is called as personal information details portlet. Now this is called as global information portlet. Now this is called as biographical information portlet. Like this, you can see various portlets, right? Address portlet, national ID portlet, job info portlet. So now think that your client has given certain requirement where he need a custom MDF portlet like this, like he need a portlet like this, where you're gonna need 4 fields, that is father name, mother name, sibling one name, sibling two name. So you need to create a portlet type structure. So in order to create any portlet type structure, which is also called as custom MDF portlet, you're gonna create or configure in configure object definition. So first let me go to configure object definition in order to create our family details custom portlet. So now coming here, we need to create new portlet, right? So we'll be creating the object first. Click on create new and always select object definition. This is where you're gonna create the object. And now you can see code, right? So I'll be keeping family details and effective dating. This is one of the most important topic. If from parent is kept when you are creating two objects, one is basic object and from parent in the sense, then it is linked up to the parent. So it is the object is coming from the parent. That means if you are keeping from parent for this object, then this object is called as child object. So this can be used at the time of associations. None is simply that you are not maintaining any specific object type. Basic is where for any of the object, if you want to create anything, like you're gonna keep the basic object. So the fourth option, multiple changes per day, is where if you want to create a portlet where you need to record the data in the same day, like multiple records on the same day, so then you're gonna keep multiple changes per day. So as of now I'm keeping basic object. So for every custom MDF object, mostly we'll be keeping basic only. See here, as you have changed the effective dating to basic, it results in addition deletion of system provided mandatory fields. Click on as API visibility. So this can be selected as not visible, read only, editable. So when you keep as editable, it tells the API visible that can be edited. And status should be active always. MDF version history. You'll be having delete history, complete history. So if you keep complete history, it says that you have switched on auditing. Now onwards, all the record changes will be logged. This means if you are keeping complete history here, Then whenever you are taking an auditing report, then all the records will be in auditing. What records has been done and what are the specific records, like that. And default screen is where if you want to have a particular default UI, then you need to, after creating the object, you will be creating UI, you can default here so that default screen will be appeared. And label is nothing but the name of the portlet. So here I'm gonna give family details. And the main important thing when you are giving label is you need to give the translations, so that for various countries it can be looked up like this. So for United Kingdom people, if you are giving like this, then this label will be visible in their language, the same thing. And default value would be same, English debug. And subject user field you can leave it as blank, pending data no, to do category. And object category would be uncategorized. This is because SAP has defined only one type of object category as of now, so we'll be using as uncategorized. And external code. So the main important thing whenever you are creating any custom portlet, the external code of the object should be always user. Then only it gonna be take up into UI. If you are not creating user, then you can't see the UI in configure people profile, that can be discussed in later of this of creating this object. So whenever you are creating any object like the parent object and the basic object, it should be external code as user. For child you can keep as auto number. This is because already for parent you will be keeping a external code as user. So now we need to keep as user. This defines the user in the field, like person ID, like that. And external name, just keep it as blank. And remove this required, so it is not required. Double active, so just leave this field as it is. External effective start date is where the effective date of the portlet, like if you are going to any portlet and making any change, then the system will ask you the effective date, right? So it is the most important field for any portlet. So you're gonna keep this required as no. This is because you can also keep as this, but I'm keeping here no. And coming to fourth field, I told you that we need to create four new fields. First one is father name. Father name. And always remember one point, in fields names you can't make any space between this external dot, code dot, like this, because system won't accept, it will throw an error. So always you need to link up the words between here. See here, if I entered father name without any spaces, it automatically added cust dot underscore. This is because this is the field name. So in field name, always remember, do not add any spaces or keep any digits in between. Only keep the values with no spaces, so that it can add cust underscore before that, and it can add your text whatever you kept. Father name, and the main thing would be the label one. Just go down. Here you want to keep the name of the particular field. Here you can give the space and how the field would like in front end would be like, how the field would be exactly in the front end. So I added this label. This is done. Now I want mother name. Data type will be string because we don't need any pick list or anything. And these are the options. Visibility, if you will keep visibility as not visible, the field would not be visible in front end. If you are keeping read only, then nobody can't edit this field. If you are keeping as editable, the user can view and edit this field. Whereas coming to required is where red mark, mandatory mark. If you keep as s, then it will be a mandatory mark. Definitely you want to fill this field, however without saving. Without filling we can't save the record. So I'll be keeping as no, as I kept the before name also as no. Here I'm gonna take other dot space dot name. And now we'll be taking sister name. The same process will be coming here, keeping the label name, sister name. The last one would be brother name, brother name. So these are the four fields which I want. And however, these three fields are very important for creating any MDF object, because effective start date is used whenever you want to create any MDF object or custom MDF portlet. While creating any record in that particular object, it will ask you the effective date, so that from which date you want to create that record. External code is where you'll be keeping this as user for if you are trying to make any custom MDF portlet. And for object, you can keep it as auto number and hide this field, so that in front end you can't see this screen field. And external name is where you can also convert this field into father name, mother name, anything. Just because the name would be here, but here in label you want to change the label which you want, like father name, mother name. And these are the four fields. And coming down, always give security as secured access, and permission category should be miscellaneous permissions. By keeping the object secured, you can give permissions to view, edit, because the object is secured. No one can't edit or view without the permissions. So in order to create any record in portlet or object, if you are keeping the object secured access, then you need to definitely give the permissions. Without giving the permissions, no one can edit, view the portlet or the custom MDF object. So as miscellaneous permissions, now just click on save. So it says the object is an role based permission secured object. To access the object, you need to grant the necessary role based permissions. So now we need to grant the miscellaneous permissions. Like I told, right? You need to give view, edit, access, all the access, so that you can create a record, edit the record, view the record. Click on OK. Now you can see I have created the fields until here. But you can ask me, what are these fields? These are predefined fields. Once you save the custom MDF object creation, you'll be getting these fields default. This is because these are predefined fields by SAP SuccessFactors. So now we'll go to manage permission rule. So whenever you create any object and keep the object as secured as, then you need to go to manage permission rules and give permissions. So here I gave permission category as miscellaneous permissions. So in manage permission rule, I'll go to miscellaneous permissions and give the permissions. So SF admin is my permission role. Permissions. Scroll down and go to miscellaneous permissions. You'll find a command called miscellaneous permissions. So here you can see miscellaneous permissions. Then just Control F, search for your object. Like I created object name on family details. So here you can find this is under miscellaneous permission. This is because I kept the object secured access under miscellaneous permissions. Now you can see visibility, view current, view history. On giving on these permissions, you can see this object records whenever created. You can see the current data as well as the historical record of that object. And actions, I'm clicking on this create, insert, correct, delete, import, export. By all these action permissions, you can create a new record in that object, insert a new record in that object, correct the existing record, that is nothing but edit, delete the record, as well as import or export the record through import and export data command. For all the MDF objects, you can import or export data through import and export data command in SuccessFactors Employee Central. So now you have given all the tick marks, all the permissions to my role, so I can view or edit, do anything as per the choice. Click on save changes. Now the main part is, so now we want to create a portlet, right? So in order to create a portlet, you need to design the template, how it should look like I want to design the fields in a order way or in a horizontal or vertical way. So in order to design anything, you'll be having a particular design, right, for the template. So in order to create the template, you'll be going to configuration UI, manage configuration UI. This is the command where you're gonna design the template for the custom MDF portlet. Not like if you are creating only custom object, then no need to create any UI template, because once you create the custom object, automatically you will be getting the UI in manage data to create records. But whenever you want to create a particular portlet which need to be displayed on the front end in employee profile, then you need to design a UI, right? So now coming here, just click on create new and select the base object. Base object is nothing but the object you created. So I created one family details, right? See here, there is a family details. Now see, father name I created this field, mother name I created this field, sister name, brother name. So now this is external code. I told you, right? External code should always be user. So once you keep this user, then it will take the form into portlet form, which will help you to define the portlet. So leave this field, it will be automatically, the visibility of this field will be disappeared, so you can't see this field in front end. This is because you have kept external code as user, which is mandatory for a custom MDF portlet. So obviously this field won't be visible in the front end. And coming to external name, I don't want this field, as this is a predefined field. I'll be keeping this visibility as no, so that it won't be visible in my front end screen. Effective start date is mandatory for everything, because if you want to create any particular data, then you need to mention the date, right? So these are the four fields. And one more thing is, if you want to design this template in different form, like layout into flow, see here, I got into this way. So this is how you design the template here, where there is many more options how you can design the template. But as of now, I'm moving on to next step. So this was the basic thing. You mean on practice of doing this, you'll be getting more idea on this, how to do it and how to design template and all. So just clicking on it, and this visibility as no. And the main thing would be ID. You need to give a specific unique ID, so that you need to select it in configure people profile. So I'll be keeping as family details, and just click on save. So now the step is done. So now you have designed a UI template, right? So after designing UI template, you won't get the portlet directly, right, on the employee profile. You need to assign the UI template to the portlet. So in order to assign any block or any template to the employee profile portlet, that is employee profile screen, there is a command called configure people profile. You can get it by name only. Configure people profile means people profile is nothing but the employee profile. Configure in the sense you are creating or making up changes in the people profile blocks. So I'm clicking on configure people profile. So here you can see all the blocks. This is personal information, biographical. So now we need to add a block, right? Because ours is custom MDF portlet. So I'll be adding a new section and untitled. This is where the heading name of the portlet. So I'll be keeping family details. Apply to all languages. So it will apply for all the languages in the system. And here, this is the portlet name. Like here you can see cell number, side name. So this was the heading and this was the side name. So I'll be keeping family details. Apply to all languages. Click on OK. Now the main step is, so you have designed an UI template, right? So in order to assign the UI template to this blog, you just need to click on this. So now you got various talent blocks, like different blocks. So now always I told you that this is called a custom MDF object. Custom MDF object. Just remember one thing, this is MDF. So just go down, go down, go down, and here you can see custom blocks. So now you need to check for live profile MDF block. See, now this is the block. Live profile MDF information. This means this blocks helps you to view the MDF template information. Just double click on this, drag to place block. I place the block. Now the main thing is MDF screen ID. MDF screen ID is the ID. I told you, right? You'll be creating an UI. So you need to give a specific UI name. I told you before saving the UI before step. I told you to give a particular name. So I have given family details, right? Just search for family details here. So let me check whether we are getting it or not. Family details. So we just got by searching it. So this is where our UI is. So this is because if you are keeping external code as auto number in MDF creation, then you won't get this UI here. Because if you keep external code as user, it defines the user profile, which means it would the template need to be populated in configure people profile, which populates in employee profile. So that is why always keep external code as user for creating any custom MDF portlet. For parent object also you need to keep external code, but whereas if you are creating associations parent and child object, for child object you can keep external code as auto number. This is because for parent object you will be keeping external code as user, and all the basic objects, all each and every object MDF object, custom MDF object, you will be keeping you will be keeping this external code as user. So now select your UI, click on save. So now I want this, you can also make this position available at a particular screen, like double click on this, just move up. I want to see this block at the top of employee profile. So I'm keeping this block here. So I want to see this block whenever I open the employee profile. The first portlet should be my portlet. Just click on save, and the last step would be giving permissions. So what permission should I give? You can ask me about. So for that, we'll be going to manage per role, and I'll be showing what permissions should be used. So click on my role, that is SF admin, and here you need to give employee views permissions. Employee view permissions in the sense the employee should see the portlet. If I am an employee and I am in this role and I want to see that portlet in the front end, that is employee profile. So if you want to particularly see that portlet, then you need to have the permissions, right? So in order to have the permissions, there is a transition called employee views. So under this you can see all the portlets. If you are keeping tick mark here, that means you can see in front end, that is view permission. If you are not keeping view, then you can't see in front end. Now you can see we created family details, we didn't check mark. So without giving this permission, if we see employee profile, we can't see any portlet belonging to family details. Now just click on this, done, save changes. Now if I'm going to any employee profile, I should see that family details populating me in the first block of the employee profile. So I'll be going to any random employee, Sarah, David, or anything like that. So I'm going to her. Now you can see our portlet would be first. This is because we can see here. This is the portlet, right? You can see the portlet here. This was the first portlet. Our portlet is the first. This is because I dragged the block to the first section and edit employee details. Now you're gonna get all the fields. I told you, right? External code you kept as user. That field wouldn't be visible in UI because you are keeping as defining it as user, so it will be attached to the user profile. And the second one, external name, I added the field. I kept the visibility as no, so that I can see that field here. And the third one, effective start date. I told you, right? So this is the importance of effective start date. So I want to create a record from 28th December. First name Mitchell Johnson is the father name, and Sarah Davis is the mother name. Sister name is Alexandra Sniffet. Brother name is David. So I'm clicking on save. See here, the record is created. And when you go to history, you can see the record is created on December 28th, which was given as effective date. This is the importance of effective date. So it records the date which you created the record. Suppose I gave all the miscellaneous permissions, right? Insert, correct, delete. See here, I have edit in, that is insert new record permission, edit in the sense correct, delete permission, cancel. So if you want to create any other record with a different date, just click on insert new record, change the date, and enter the details. That's it. So this is all about how you can create custom MDF portlet, and in real time, every SuccessFactors AC consultant would definitely do this job, because whenever you are implementing for any customer, the customer wants many portlets to be designed as per his choice. So it is very important to know you all that how to create a custom MDF portlet. So this was the topic for today's video. I hope you all learned a specific topic which was very useful in your real time. And that's it for the day. Thank you. And keep subscribing my channel so that I can bring you more content like this. Thank you.